I'm going to tell you right now, it still doesn't read right. It doesn't sound right, but it doesn't read right.
My intro?
No, the title of this episode.
Two straight ass. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to episode 84 of the Snarp Fangle Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Metzger, someone who's a common enjoyer of those early 2000s films. And my co-host this week, he's the man in the beard, and his name is David Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, David. How you doing, David?
Doing all right.
All right, sounds great. And this week, our guest into this foray into the Snarp Fangle universe is our good dear friend, Frankie Nanez. Frankie, I just want to apologize in advance for what we're about to do to you.
Why?
Well, you know why. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've read the title of this episode, we are watching two straight ass movies.
Yeah, it was a little bit better.
It's a little bit better.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't read right.
It does not
but
read
it
right.
It speaks right.
Yes.
Straight ass. We're watching two.
Yeah.
Usually we do our two. Okay, let me get through this. For comments, concerns, thoughts, and hate mail, and what other straight ass films you'd like to watch us, have us watch, send them on over to snarpfanglepod@gmail.com, or you can just text Jake. Sorry, Frankie, what were you saying?
You got to emphasize the ass part. Straight ass movies.
Straight ass films.
Yeah.
Ass. Straight ass. All right. So, for those unaware, uninitiated, listening to this episode, and we're like, what the heck are they talking about? I need to be clear. This is a series that we like to do called Two Films, where we take two films and pair them together to a certain theme. And this week's theme, or this time that we're doing this, is the theme of two straight ass movies, like Al Pacino in Heat. Straight ass. That's what we're going for. This is great, but we're going straight. Not great ass movies, straight ass films. So here we go. So there were some options, guys, that we were going to go with, but we ended up, Catwoman was, I think, part of it the entire time. So one of them is Catwoman. This is going to be the first one we dive into. And of course, the second one, Frankie, what's our second film we're going to talk about?
Waterworld.
Oh, and we're going to get into it. Don't you worry. All right, let's jump into it. So Catwoman, let's see. So by the way, I just took the intro that's around on the internet for those listening. And usually I try to do it, kind of make some changes or make my own. I didn't. This one's too good to not use. So here we go. A shy woman endowed with the speed, reflexes, and senses of a cat walks a thin line between criminal and hero, even as a detective doggedly pursues her, fascinated by both of her personas. Directed by Pitoff. Yeah, that's it. That's all he's called. Written by, and this is written by a lot of folks, so here we go. Teresa Rebeck, John Brancato, Michael Ferris, and John Rogers. Starring Halle Berry, Benjamin Bratt, Sharon Stone, Lambert Wilson, Alex Borstein, Francis Conroy, and Michael Massey. With a budget of $100 million.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And a box office of $82 million. With a runtime of an hour and 44 minutes, released in 2004. Gentlemen, what do we think of Catwoman? This straight ass movie.
First off, I didn't know that there was so many people involved in the writing of that film. Like, it boggles my mind that it took all those writers to come up with this.
Yeah, and we'll talk about, I mentioned it later, but there's Brian, what's his name? Simon Kinberg was tasked to rewrite the script before they went into production, and he said he couldn't do it because it was just so broken and bad. Simon Kinberg, they did the X-Men films, said no. That's crazy. So, anyway, sorry, David.
Yeah, that's all I had to say.
So many people.
They have like an idea board and they just threw shit at it, and then whatever stuck, they're like, okay, mythology. Yeah, this, that, and this. All right, that'll work. Yeah, how do we link these?
Although, you know what? I have to say, what I bet probably happened, this is just my speculation, but what I bet probably happened is one or two of them came up with the base script, and then the studio just brought in some, people they knew. People who were connected.
Didn't cost a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Very Hollywood.
Just like, hey, you're you did a favor for me once, or you're my cousin's friend or something,
or I have blackmail on you.
Here,
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 Hollywood thing.
So either blackmail or nepotism.
Come in and
Yes.
sit in on the writing sessions for this film we're doing, and it just probably ballooned into the monstrosity we all know and love today.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're not gonna beat around the bush. This is a straight ass movie. It's, and I was going into it when we were sitting down watching this all together. I was going into it being like, you know what? It's probably gonna be really bad, but probably like there's gonna be some bright spots in it, a little bit. And I can only think of maybe one or two.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry is one of them.
Yeah.
She's not bad in the movie. Like,
although
she does the best for what she's given.
Yeah.
She absolutely destroys her image, though. Like,
oh, dude, the hair is what you're talking about.
yeah, like the haircut and the makeup. Like, she was pretty in a quirky kind of way in the first part of the film, and then what does she do? She gets the Karen hairstyle,
Mega Karen,
and applies
Karen.
and applies like several layers of makeup to the point where like her face is barely recognizable anymore.
Yeah, that was a disappointing part too. I'm like, oh, she ruined it, and then the movie continued.
Yeah, it's like that stupid trope that used to be in movies where the shy nerdy girl like takes off her glasses and suddenly she's hot. Like it's like that
Poison Ivy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a trope, right? It's a trope, but it's like that trope taken to a ridiculous, absurd degree.
Yeah. Frankie, what are your general thoughts on this film as we watch this film with Halle Berry in it?
It's hard to say.
It's hard to put into words.
Yeah,
Well, explain to me what emotions you feel while watching this film. Like
disappointment, sadness,
anger. I don't know if there's anger. There's just like
okay. With both movies, you guys took things that I saw as a child, and maybe in my childhood brain, these were okay movies, and now both of them have been ruined as an adult. I'm just like, why would I waste any time ever on these? Because I haven't watched. I lied. We watched Catwoman, but we didn't really watch it not that long ago. And
yeah, I think we watched like a portion of
random
it or something.
scenes we'd watch because we were talking and hanging out. But so maybe I didn't catch a glimpse of it enough to be like, oh, this sucks. So it was still in my mind that like, oh, this is a decent movie. Plus it has Halle Berry in it, so like not bad, right? No, it was. Halle Berry did the absolute best that she could with the lines that were given to her.
Yeah.
And same with the other actors. The story itself, I think, is the worst part of it.
Yeah, and the dialogue.
Yeah,
the acting itself isn't too bad, but just the dialogue is terrible.
Oh, it's even cheesy for early 2000s, and that's saying a whole lot because that was like the era of cheesy, grungy, punk rocky type superhero movies.
Ultra violence.
Yeah.
Or violent. Ultra violent.
Yeah, the writing on this film is like a special kind of stupid that you don't quite get very often.
Yeah, it's a little touched in the head, if you know what I mean. That's what
it's got a hint of the tism.
It's got a hint of the tism. It's
maybe a whole dollop.
Not like complete dollop when we go into Waterworld. But with this one, what did I write down? I wrote this. I said, on the bright side, this film has an enormous amount of style. Like, whether it be like cringy or off-brand or weird.
You guys should have had a disclaimer at the beginning of this podcast. The views expressed by those in the podcast are those of the individuals and not of Snarp Fangle.
I mean, we are Snarp Fangle, so... But anyway, we do. Our opinions don't have to reflect yours, Frankie. You speak for yourself.
Perfect.
David speaks for me, and I speak for him, right, David?
Yeah, that's
a real weird symbiotic kind of cohesion going on.
Yeah, it's so back onto the style here. I kind of like the style of this film. Like, it's very, I don't know how to explain it. Early 2000s doesn't really surmise what you see on screen. It's something like French is what I would put into terms, but the good kind of French styling. Like something where you won't see necessarily in an American film unless it's a really bad one like this. You know what I mean? Because as we know, we all hate the French, right? Let's be real. But anyway, regardless of that, I'm just making fun of the director. So, because his first big credit was Alien Resurrection, which is itself a straight-ass film. And he did the visual effects for that. So it's like he did some like short films in France, and then he got this gig. And he also spoke very little English, which kind of explains some of the direction of some of the actors in this film. But I kind of like in terms of the camera work, the direction, what they point and focus to. I do like that, and the way it flows. But that's about it in terms of that. I think it's just the direction of the actors specifically is really bad, and it's like, no, do it like this and be like this. Like, I don't know what the excuse is for having these actors make these characters like this, whether it be the writing or just, oh, it's supposed to be for kids or whatever, or teenage boy. I don't know what they were trying to go for, but it's like, it's so weird.
What boggles my mind too is like Halle Berry is not a terrible actor.
Oh, yeah.
But some of the things she does in this movie, like
she goes for it.
There's one part where she's supposed to be like, coming into her new Catwoman persona while she's at work and her boss is berating her, and she sort of vacillates between cowering and like being snarky. And then that part where she apologizes and he continues yelling at her, and then she's like, okay, let me try the remix. That made me legit angry when I heard that. I was like, shut the F up, biatch. How on earth did any actor with any sense at all decide to
How do you sell that line?
Decide to deliver that line in that way? That was, it's a terrible line, but also she delivered it in the worst way possible. And it's like, it boggles my mind because Halle Berry's not a bad actor. So was it the director? What was it? Was it a lack of communication? Did she have a stroke?
I really thought you were gonna bring up the jewelry store scene.
Oh yeah, that was also terrible.
That was bad.
Because like as we're watching it, you're just like, here it comes. And I don't know, she says like meow all sassy.
Oh,
it was horrible.
Yeah, it's like they went for it, and it's like weird.
I think it was on the precipice of like some of those bigger movies, like the first gen of Spider-Man with Sony Studios, the Hulk, some of those ones hitting big box office things. And then here comes Halle Berry. Daredevil came out. That was another flop, but
yeah.
So I think they were just like, superhero movie is going to sell, or,
Yeah, it's going to make money.
Yeah.
Why not? And this was 2004, so it's like, it's at the peak of that. You had X2 right before this. Daredevil, I think, was 2003. Fantastic Four would be a year after this, as well as Batman Begins as well, starting that off. So you had a lot going for the superhero genre, and it just feels like a pure capitalization on that. And
was this pre-MCU?
Oh yeah, this was 2004.
Yeah.
Iron Man was 2008.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember when Iron Man dropped. So yeah, this was pre-MCU. So this was when they were trying to figure out the formula for superhero films.
Yeah, this was the same year as, let's see, Ang Lee's Hulk was 2002, I think, and Spider-Man 2 came out this year in 2004. I want to say Daredevil was 2003 or 2004, something like that. But yeah, it was around that time. It's funny, we brought up Half-Life earlier. Half-Life 2 came out in 2004 as well. So
there you go.
Nothing like Catwoman. The more you know. I really don't have a whole lot of notes on this movie. But David did say there's the other good thing, before I get ahead of myself, the other good thing I do like about this film is Halle Berry and Alex Borstein's characters, her and her friend in the movie. Really good chemistry. You care for them. We don't know what is happening in the story with her friend. Like, why is she in the hospital in the first place? That's explained, but it's like, why is she still in the hospital? Like, why is she just always here?
Yeah, it's kind of explained later on, but it's like before you get to that part, you're just like, what
is happening?
And also, the really funny thing about it is like the scene where she faints and goes to the hospital.
Yeah,
like I'm pretty sure exists purely for the purpose of them to like just have a break in the story so that they could cut to them talking about her newfound love interest.
Yeah,
like I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they put that in like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the character dynamics between her and that friend. And it was mentioned, I guess, in the IMDb trivia that they did become close friends after this, like Like they did strike up a friendship, so that kind of works.
Okay.
Also, it's Miss Swan. How can you not love Miss Swan? And
Hello.
the chick from and the chick from she was Marvelous Miss Maisel. She's great. in
Yeah.
that. Like she's a wonderful actress.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but most of the people in this are good actors and actresses. It's just they were given poor writing, poor quality writing, and a poor script, and just very little to do with any of it, especially
Yeah.
the direction. I don't think this director really was the right fit. And hearing that he spoke barely any English, he always had to have a translator, really does kind of make a lot of sense with what we're given here. So, yeah.
The great and mighty Petoff.
Yeah.
Eat off.
I thought it was like a rapper or something. Like it's like RZA directed Catwoman. Like something like that. But is there anything in this film, guy? Like what's the big highlights for this film for you? Well, good or bad. It could be trash or good. There's very little good in this film. But what are some of the highlights, the major sequences or scenarios that stand out in your mind?
I think for good things would be like kind of the visual style and some of the cinematography is good. Like it's cool. The unfortunate thing is most of the good bits, in my opinion, are stolen from The Matrix Reloaded. But they even have the same terrible CG cities as The Matrix Reloaded.
They do. Yeah, CGI is not a looker in this one.
I think what stands out for me though most of all is the basketball scene.
Ooh,
Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens in that scene, David? Regale us for what the scenario is. Set it up for us.
All right. So basically what happens is you have this budding sort of relationship between Catwoman and this cop guy. Is he a detective?
Yes, he's a detective.
Detective. Yeah, he's a detective. And we come to find out that he's like, this movie really tries to sell that he's like a catch, so, like he's like if like Catwoman's snagging him, like he's a good man, because he works with underprivileged inner city youth, So with that setup, he's playing a little basketball with some random kids in the city, and for some reason one of the kids is like, you two should play, to Catwoman and him. And she's like she's like sort of learning how her cat reflexes work and all that. And so she's like, okay. And she proceeds to, oh my God, I can't even describe it. It's like super powered twerking and grinding for an audience of 12-year-olds is the only way I can describe this scene. It's so off-putting and weird.
I think the scene just got under your skin, David, because these are the things that happen as you describe them. But I feel like the way that you're describing it is more emphasized than what I remember seeing, or maybe I didn't care as much. Maybe that's what it is. It didn't hit me in the same tone. But yes, it was completely unnecessary, especially for a kid's movie at the time. It was.
Is this a kid's movie?
Well, I mean, it's not really a kid's movie, but when I say an audience of 12-year-olds, I'm talking the in-world.
Yeah.
They're like literally like grinding
in front of all these
and
kids,
twerking on each other while a group of children stand around them and cheer.
And cheer, yeah. That's so weird.
So was this the turning point that Kim Kardashian became people's super like idol? This is because of people and things like this?
Sure, yeah, Frankie.
Well,
but yeah, like
long stretch.
Yeah, this is weird. The scene is so bizarre to me because like the kid's like, "Hey, you ball," and then she's like, "No," and then to impress the dude, she's like, "Actually, yeah," and then she uses her cat powers and does some like insane jumps at the basket and everything, and like passes the ball back and forth, and like a cat, she's like, "Arr!" She's following it with her eyes, and then he gets in on it, and they're playing back and forth, they're flirting there, and the kids are like, "Yeah, get her, yeah, this is amazing." And then like she like dodges him and like boom, gets it in the basket and everything, and the kids are like, "Woo!" Except for the one kid out there is like, "Can we have our ball back? Like what the heck, lady?" Like he's like, okay, like one of the kids took the initiative and said, "I need to make a stop to this. Like this has gone too far, man." Like he's like 9. But it's a very weird and
It is very weird.
and bizarre scene. I think my joke when we were watching it was like, "Oh, mommy, daddy got to show that they love each other." You know?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Oh,
that's
man.
the basketball scene.
Yeah,
what other scenes stand out to you guys? Frankie, you got any?
No, not particularly.
What about the transformation?
Oh yeah, the cat spits in her mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cat's soul goes into her.
Yeah,
or whatever,
it's all very weird. Some of the CGI does look better than other scenes. Like that particular scene does not look good.
Oh yeah, the CG cats are terrible.
Yeah. So it's like a grab bag because some of it is a little bit better done, and then other ones is like, oh, this is 100% of this era type CGI.
Yeah.
I would say my highlight was Halle Berry in a leather catsuit. I mean, that's kind of all I can
Kind of like
take
what you're
from
going
it.
for.
Yeah, that's all I could take from it in a positive light, to be honest. The rest of it was kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of what stands out to me. I think the robbery that you brought up, David, is a good part, or a good point, I would say. It's the biggest example of her powers. And they really go for it. They're like, she's an actual cat and she can climb on the walls. It's like she's Spider-Man and Catwoman at the same time. And she's got zippy one-liners like meow and
Does all sorts of like gratuitous, unnecessary flips and things.
yeah,
It's like-
yeah. Like
There was
she's dodging a
definite
bullet, she does a
acrobatics.
backflip or a
Yeah.
side flip. And it's like you could have just, use your cat reflexes and dodged,
And then of
So-
course you gotta love
and
what's
all
her
the
face
sultry
Sharon Stone as the
Yeah.
as the main villain.
Speaking of Batman villains.
She literally becomes a stone.
That's true, yeah.
Yep.
And she was Poison Ivy, right? In Batman and Robin.
Sharon Stone?
I'm pretty sure she was Poison Ivy.
No, that was Uma Thurman.
Oh, that was Uma Thurman. Okay, I'm sorry. I got confused. I thought it was. Yeah, you're
Who
right.
is this guy? Kick him out.
All right.
Every podcast, I have to kick somebody out.
Oh, man. We're only 20 minutes in,
Yeah,
Frank.
no.
Anyway, man, I'm trying to think of what else to talk about this movie. Like, it's just, like, it's not all bad. Like, again, the style and direction is really interesting, but, like, the acting is just, the whole thing with her in the party next door, and she's like, no, could you please stop? And then, like, she gets the courage and just goes and just obliterates everybody and just beats them all up. It's like, and sprays them with what? The water fountain sprayer thing or whatever?
From the keg.
Oh, from the keg, yeah. She's
Sprays them with
spraying.
the
I was
beer.
like, what in the heck is going on? And I will say, what's his name? Benjamin Bratt, who plays the detective.
His character's the most consistent, to be honest.
Yeah, he
He
does,
doesn't have any dumb lines.
Yeah,
either.
he's pretty all right in the movie.
Yeah.
And I forgot you mentioned this, Frankie, but this is the guy who's Ernesto de la Cruz
yeah.
in Coco.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, I was like, well, I think we looked it up that night. We were watching.
I was looking. I
Yeah.
was like, I just watched the show at the minute. It was Loot on Apple
was-
TV, but
yeah.
then I saw that he was Ernesto de la Cruz.
He's one of those actors you see and you're like, I know this guy from something. Like, he's a character actor.
Yeah.
Like, he's in Law and Order, and it's listed here, Mrs. Congeniality and everything. But yeah, he's pretty okay. Miss
Was he the lead in Miss Congeniality? Or was he another character?
I have no
No,
idea.
I'm pretty
Eric
sure he-
Matthews is the guy's name in the movie.
No, was he the lead, the lead actor?
Yeah,
I think so.
Him
Yeah,
and
he
him
was.
and what's her face?
Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
No, not Julia
No.
Roberts.
Goodness gracious.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra
Yes,
Bullock. Thank
there
you.
we go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's all right, But the dude who's the bad guy in this, I think he's the worst actor in this movie. Like him and Sharon Stone. Like, Sharon Stone's not, I guess, a bad actress, but like
She's not terrible.
she's not terrible. But she's like, she's bad in this, man. Like,
It's just like she's
she's
like,
over the top, is what I'll say.
Yeah, she like it gets to the point where she's just like she's supposed to be like this threatening figure, but it's just by the point where she's revealed to be like the big bad and she's got her superpowers, like it just becomes such a comedy. It doesn't give her anything cool to do. She basically like Catwoman like knocks her around and she like comically flies through various scenery and just gets kind of like it's almost like a Monty Python skit.
Yeah.
Also, what was with the art gallery on the top floor of pictures
Yeah.
of? Was that her or random people?
Yeah, was it storage?
Oh, it's
Was
because
it
they
a-
were like a beauty ad agency type.
Yeah,
thing. Okay.
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That actually makes a little bit of sense. Sorry, I was like, yeah, as they're doing that scene, what was with all the artwork? Okay, that makes a little bit more sense as I
And the
walked it
way
through.
she goes out, Sharon Stone's character, is so gruesome. She like falls down and just like, oh my god, like, because she turns into stone, right? I don't remember.
Well, like
quite.
her skin becomes like rock hard.
Okay.
So like nothing hurts her basically.
Mm.
And then so I don't fully understand the logic of it either because like I guess
Yeah, there's not a
some
whole
of the
lot of
thi-
logic to this film.
some
to
of
be
the
fair.
things she like suffers, I feel like some of the things she like just shrugs off should be like if her skin's like rock hard and indestructible, like that should still cause some internal damage. And the idea that she's susceptible to internal damage is clearly laid out because she dies by falling out of a building.
Mm.
So clearly her organs aren't like indestructible because the impact of falling out of the building kills her. But then some of the like attacks she suffers when she's fighting with Catwoman before that, it's like that should cause some injuries even if your skin is indestructible.
Well, I think she says it's like marble, which is a relatively soft stone to begin with.
Yeah.
And Catwoman has those diamond-tipped claws, and I'm 99% sure that diamond would just start scarring the shit out of some marble. So, yeah, some inconsistencies in the story there.
Well, the thing is, you guys are trying to bring so much reason into this movie. There's very little reason for anything in this movie.
Yeah, but if they would have addressed some of them, it would have made the plot that much better, the story that much more coherent, which means it probably wouldn't have been a straight ass movie.
Just kind of half-assed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this movie. Let's just get into the trivia. So let's go from there. All right. So number one, in a pre-release promo interview, Halle Berry told of her portrayal of Catwoman as, is she a red-blooded woman who wants to have fun? Absolutely. With the duality of her new personality, which in turn makes for a well-rounded woman, which we all, I think, strive to be. End quote. Number two, Simon Kinberg was hired to do a rewrite on the script, working on it for only a day. According to Kinberg, the script was fundamentally broken, and if he had a month, maybe he could have saved it. Interesting. Well, I'm glad he didn't waste his time. Number three, Halle Berry was not a cat person when she was initially cast. She had 2 dogs at the time and said that she didn't like cats for being too aloof. During filming, however, she grew rather attached to the dozens of cats she had to spend hours of filming with, and even adopted one soon after production wrapped. Number 4, Pitoff only spoke French and very little English during filming, requiring the use of a translator on the set to help him communicate with the cast and crew. That sounds like a nightmare. Oh, man. Number 5, a rough cut of the trailer was put online a few months before the film's release and drew such heavy criticism that it was quickly pulled. It was soon replaced with a new trailer, which didn't include any dialogue. Wow. Number 6, according to the cat trainers and visual effects artists, 99% of the shots of cats in the film are of real cats, and CG would only be used when it was absolutely necessary. Which,
when
the cat spat in her mouth, probably.
Yeah,
is
it
what
was
they're talking
coughing
about.
up its soul hairball into her mouth.
Also, by the way, some of the things in this film that happened to her, like after she gets these powers, it feels very 2000s. It feels like it's entertaining in a way, but it doesn't feel like a Catwoman. In fact, I don't think her name's not even Selena Kyle. It's Patience something.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even Catwoman. So they weren't even drawing anything from the comics in the first place, except for maybe the name and the suit.
part of the problem.
Well, the origin story is the same. Because the idea is
mythology or whatever.
Because the idea is because in I'm not no Catwoman expert, but in the whatchamahoozy in Batman Returns, you have a very similar origin story. and basically she is like working for a big corporation. She's very like
Got glasses on.
She's very shy and unsure of herself, and she's always downtrodden, and she sees something that she's not supposed to and gets killed for it, and then somehow cat magic brings her back.
Cat magic, man.
Cat magic.
Nothing like cat magic.
Although I have to say, is what's her face?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer is man. I really wish Halle Berry had decided to take some pointers from her portrayal instead of doing whatever it was that she did.
And the thing
I'm going to defend Halle Berry.
Oh,
I'm not entirely sure that it's Halle Berry's fault. Dude that can't speak English didn't direct very well. The overall theme of the movie and the way that the rest of the dialogue goes, I can't imagine that she was like, oh, I'm going to take artistic license here and say this the dumbest way possible just for funsies.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not her fault like overall, but I feel like there's some of it is her fault. Like there's some parts where it's just like I can tell what she was trying to go for and it just didn't work. She should have had the sense to not even go for that in the first place.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. For the most part, it really isn't her fault. Like the whole direction of the movie is broken.
Yeah. The whole
Structure
everything
of
about
it.
it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see. Where was I? I think I'm down in our other one. Peed off, rough cut. Cat trainer's nickname. She was called Halle Cat during production. That was her nickname. I'm sure the director gave it to her. After reading the screenplay, director Pitoff and Jean Rabas presented to the producers an alternative version of the story that was refused using the argument that it was too artistic. Okay. Number 9, according to Alex Green, the whip master, Halle Berry needed a week of 90-minute practice sessions before she was able to successfully crack a whip. Which, by the way, speaking of Michelle Pfeiffer, her whip stuff in that is pretty good. Like, she does a good job. I'm sure she had to do training and stuff like that, but have you ever seen David and Frankie, the behind the scenes of her doing the whip trick with she's cutting off the heads of the dummies in Batman Returns? Have you ever seen that? Or is it Forever? Batman Returns or Forever?
Catwoman's in Michelle Pfeiffer's in Returns.
Returns. Okay, that was it. So like, have you seen the behind the scenes where she does that and she does it in one take and they all like applaud after she's done?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. She like does it. It shows everybody like watching her and she's like, done. 2, 3, and then she whips off the last head of the fourth one and then she walks away. And then Cut's not even yelled out. Everybody's like, yeah, woo! They just all applaud. They're like, that was awesome. So anyway, number 10, the movie had to undergo reshoots after testing poorly with screeners. Okay. No kidding. With only a month though left before the theatrical release.
Oof.
That's crazy, man. A month before the movie comes out.
Yeah, that is some
That's
serious
rough.
last minute.
Man. Number 11, Halle Berry was originally thought to play Catwoman in Darren Aronofsky's canceled Batman Year One, which I didn't even know was intended at one point. All right, number 12. 43 cats were trained for the film. Halle Berry adopted one of them afterward and called him Play-Doh. Cute. I was struggling, guys. I just want to be real. I'm starting the trivia for a second. I was struggling to find anything interesting about this movie in the trivia. It's all just random crap, and this was the best of them. So I'm sorry, guys. All right, number 13. During the restaurant sequence with Benjamin Bratt, the sushi bean that Halle Berry was chewing and gorging her mouth on was actually chunks of fruit molded into looking like raw fish. Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
that makes
Thank
sense.
God it's not real fish, you know?
Well, that makes sense from an acting perspective.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to
Fish.
gorge themselves on fish just for a movie scene?
Yeah, and for 10 takes or whatever it's going to be, that'd be bleh. Anyway, number 14, the film is included on on Roger Ebert's most hated list. Number 15, Halle Berry ended up in a hospital after a stunt where she collided with a piece of stage equipment during a chase scene. The injury wasn't serious. And number 16, one of Halle Berry's stunt doubles was the 29-year-old male Hawaiian actor Nito Larioza, an expert in martial arts.
What?
Yeah, I I know, right? One of the body doubles and
Halle Berry.
For Halle Berry.
I want to find the
dude.
scene. Yeah, I want to find the scene where he's actually used.
Dude, I was like, there's no way that's true. Apparently it is.
I mean, this is IMDb, right?
Yes, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But dang.
I send you the trivia for that one movie, right?
We got gypped, guys.
Where
Wait,
it was
what?
like, I sent you the screenshot of the trivia for that one movie, right? Where it's like, this was one of the 3 films found in the possession of Osama bin Laden after his death. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
So IMDb is not
Yeah.
exactly a trusted source.
It was something random too. I can't remember what it was.
It's one of our upcoming ass movies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I forgot about that. All right. Finally, number 17. Halle Berry became one of only 6 actors in history at the time to possess both an Oscar and a Razzie. After her win for her infamous performance in this film, she also became the first to accept that Razzie in person, walking out on stage, proudly holding both Oscar and Razzie in her hands, feigning tears of joy. She gave a short acceptance speech that said, "I'd like to thank Warner Brothers for making me do this god-awful piece of shit movie."
I mean, it's like the duality of man, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
The yin and the yang, the Oscar and the Razzie.
Yeah. And some of the quotes from this film, we've mentioned a little bit of them, but like one of them was Laurel saying, "Game over," the bad guy. And then she's like, "Guess what? It's overtime."
Oh, God.
So bad. And
Yeah.
another one was, "I'm sorry." She's like, "I'm sorry." This was the one you were talking about, David. "I'm sorry." And the guy's like, Sorry is not nearly enough." She's like, "Okay, let me try the remix."
Yeah.
I became like angry.
Yep.
That was it was so terrible.
Yeah. And Frankie, would you like to read us the ending line of this film that Halle Berry quotes as right before credits hit?
So right there in the bracket. Oh,
The day I died.
why do you want me to read this?
Yeah, go. Can you actually see it though?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
The day I died was the day I started to live. In my old life, I longed for someone to see what was special in me. You did, and for that, you'll always be in my heart. Why am I reading this?
Just keep going. It's great.
Okay.
Trust me. The movie's going to make a bunch of money. You're fine.
Yeah. Where was I?
It was special in me.
Yeah, it's the finding it part.
The second line. Oh, wait, no.
It's not second.
It's not second line for you, no.
Because it's all squished together.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You did, and for that, you'll always be in my heart. But what I really needed was for me to see it, and now I do. You're a good man, Tom. But you live in a world that has no place for someone like me. You see, sometimes I'm good. Oh, I'm very good. But sometimes I'm bad. But only as bad as I want to be. Freedom is power. To live a life untamed and unafraid is the gift that I've been given. And so my journey begins.
Like, somebody wrote that, Frankie.
Yeah, they thought they were being philosophical.
Yeah, they were
philosophical
like, this is
shit.
This
Yeah,
is the shit, man.
this is
Like,
deep. This is deep. I'm hitting all the strings.
freedom is power.
No,
Like, you just
yeah,
had to include that in
yeah,
there.
No,
Like, I bet that freedom is power thing was like, that was going to be the end. But then they're like, please, no, add a little bit more.
yeah.
Freedom is power.
What really gets me is sometimes I'm good and I'm really good. Sometimes I'm bad, but only as bad as I want to be.
Just want to be clear to everybody who has not seen this horrible movie is that it is like a Dear John letter, essentially, while he's sitting at the cafe reading this letter out loud, and those are her words being spoken to him.
Yeah,
They're adding extra sass to the sounds of what's being said, but it is like a Dear John letter
Yeah.
to the detective that she pretty much walked away from.
That's the
left
thing
him
too,
hanging.
is not only did somebody write those lines, but then Halle Berry decided she was going to speak them in that way. And it's just like,
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's... Oh, sorry, Frankie.
No, I was going to say thanks for making me read it out loud.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, thank you for reading it. I appreciate it. It was almost as good as Halle Berry.
Almost.
Almost. That's all I pretty much got for Catwoman. Any final thoughts on this straight ass film, gentlemen?
it definitely deserves that moniker.
Mm.
But also, I feel like
there's worse
it's
films.
a movie. There's worse films, but this is
Definitely.
kind of bad in its own special sort of way.
Mm.
Like it's like a fun roller coaster ride of terrible.
It's a fun one to.
It was entertaining. It was more entertaining watching it with you two than when we watched it just hanging out. Not that we actually watched it, but it was on. How's that?
It was on.
Yeah.
It was in the background, you know. Yeah, it was also fun to watch. That's what I would say. The next one though. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. Waterworld. Well, y'all, the polar ice caps have melted, and you know what that means? Total annihilation of the human species, with the exception of Kevin Costner, of course. We follow a man through a world completely flooded, humanity conquered, and is being conquered by those on the water, and is conquering the world by boat, searching in vain for any trace of earthly material. Directed by Kevin Reynolds. Written by Peter Ratter and David Twohy? Twahi. Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. Starring Kevin Costner, Jeanne Triplehorn, Dennis Hopper, Tina Majorino, Gerard Murphy, and of course, Jack Black.
Did you add that in there?
I did add that in there. Budget of $175 million and a box office of 264.
This one actually made a profit.
It's made a little bit. Runtime of 2 hours 15 minutes. Released in 1995. Gentlemen, we watched this.
It felt
a little
like the
bit
longest
after
movie.
a little bit after Catwoman, and I was not prepared for this film. I always like, you know what? It can't be that bad with a name like Waterworld, right? Which already is, now that you think about it, it's pretty cheesy, extremely cheesy.
I had fond memories of Catwoman, and I was in my early teens. I had really fond memories of this being I was only 5 years old. And you just duck hunted the shit out of it and took it right out of the sky. After watching it again, I was just like, this movie isn't actually that great. I remember it being pretty good.
What I have to bring up about this, it's kind of unrelated.
Okay.
But it's so funny to me. So there's a scene in one of the Simpsons episodes where there's a Waterworld arcade game.
Oh.
And it's like the idea is it's a terrible looking like side scrolling beat 'em up where you play as Kevin Costner and that jankily beat up smokers. And so that's like a gag, like a short gag in a Simpsons episode. Then somebody went and actually made a game based on that.
Whoa, what?
Yes. So if you go out there, you can play the quote unquote Waterworld arcade game.
This was 1994, guys.
84?
94.
There we go.
Did I say 84?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was 95.
Oh, was it 90? Oh, man, I'm wrong. It is 95. Dang it.
But I was going to let you roll with it.
95.
95.
1995, gentlemen. You have Kevin Costner presented with a script, and he's like, this could be pretty good. And those writers suckered him right into it, because then what happened was they made this film, a ballooning budget. Kevin Costner's going through divorce at the same time. He's like, and then the director bugs out because him and Kevin Costner can't work together at some point in the production. So Kevin Costner takes over production, the directing position of this, at some point, allegedly. And they're filming outside Hawaii, miles from shore. And it's just weather disaster after hurricane, after other stuff as well. So there's a lot that went wrong during this film, just to give you context. So what we're presented with is a good attempt at an otherwise badly thought out idea, is what I would say. But what are your guys' general thoughts on Waterworld?
I think it could have been good. I think it could have been condensed and still had the same effect without the extra 45 minutes. Honestly, I think they could have shortened 45 minutes out of the movie, cut some of the scenes, and still pulled it off.
Yeah,
Because then it would have just been a quirky offshoot of something kind of like a Mad Max movie-esque.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you bring that up too, like, because you was like, oh, so it's like Mad Max, and then I was reading through the Wikipedia article, and it's like one of the writers on the film literally said they wanted to make a Mad Max ripoff,
Yeah.
Yep.
which now that I've tried my hand at some filmmaking, I have something in common with that writer. I also made a Mad Max ripoff.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking about the commercial for the youth group Taco Feed.
For this year.
I made a Mad Max inspired short little.
I gotta watch it before.
Yeah, I'll show it to you after this. So yeah, so David, you and what's his name? Kevin Reynolds,
Raider.
Reynolds.
Oh, Reynolds.
R-E-Y Knowles. Reynolds. Thank you. So you and Kevin Reynolds, David, have something in common.
Indeed.
That you've both made a Mad Max ripoff. His being almost 3 hours long in the original cut, and then 2:15. Yours is just 1 minute 40. So it's okay. You know what?
Yeah.
You guys both have something in common. And honestly, on a side note, it's a funny commercial. And I think it has more intrigue to me than anything this film has, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's the thing with this film is there's so much in it, but almost none of it is in any way interesting.
Yeah. Like
It's all. There's a lot of not necessary. Like the story would progress with a whole lot of the scenes not there.
yeah. And also, here's the thing. There's an argument I've heard before in writing where it's like the argument of the good way of world building and then the bad way. And generally in writing and with books particular, you like Lord of the Rings is the best example. I think Adley was telling me about this. Like Lord of the Rings is the best example in the film of providing really good world building. But there's other films that don't really give you any context or any world building at all, and they just throw you right into it. And that's kind of an example of Waterworld. But I think there's other films out there, especially fantasy, that do just throw you in, and you just kind of like some animes out there. They just throw you in there,
Yeah.
and then they explain along the way. This film, however, it doesn't do a particularly good job of world building. It introduces all these things, and you're like, that's kind of interesting. But then they kind of drop it and go to the next thing. Like
Yeah.
the thing about, oh, they're scavengers. Okay, let's go to the town. Oh, this is a town. How long have they? Oh, it's being attacked. Okay, well, who are these attackers? They're smokers because they smoke a lot.
Yeah.
No, actually, in the original like cut of this film, the re done cut that's 3 hours or whatever, they're called smokers because the oil they're processing, they can't refine it very well, so it spews out black thick smoke. That's why they're called smokers.
Gotcha.
But in the film, they're just smoking constantly. So there's
Yeah,
also
they all
that.
have cigarettes and stuff
like in
and
a bundle
cigars.
around their arm. They're like,
I feel like what ended up happening is they came up with the idea to call them smokers based on what you were talking about, the fact that they have poorly refined oil powering all their vehicles. And it seems like they're the only faction in this movie who has like petrochemical powered anything.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense that they would be called smokers. And then they took that, and then somebody is like, what if we made like cigarettes a central part of their existence?
And for some reason, they have all the cigarettes.
All of them.
All of them. Like, and not that, the whole world flooded. And for some reason, they ended up with all of them. Like, what? Okay.
Yeah, that's the weird thing to
Yeah.
me too, is like it's like it makes sense from like them having like oil and gas powered vehicles because they took over an old Exxon Valdez tanker that somehow still had oil in it.
Yeah.
But like you go from that to what did this oil tanker carry the world's supply of cigarettes in it? What?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Super random.
Yeah, it's like there's some really interesting nuggets that I would say that are throughout this whole film that are quite fascinating, but like overall they don't take the time or the care, I would say, to really expound upon them.
Like they could have cut the whole scene with the girl coloring on his ship with the coloring crayons.
Yeah.
They could have cut that and used that same time for something more meaningful.
Or the whole thing with the random, like, what's his name?
The traitor?
The traitor. It's like the random dude who's like the guy with all the scurvy marks who's like got a fix, you know?
Yeah.
And he buys her. Like
I
the
think
girl.
they were trying to show the disparity, but yeah, it was an unnecessary.
Yeah, it was
scene.
so unnecessary. And you, like you said, you could have shaved a good 45 minutes off of this cut.
Yeah.
I feel like, and still had something
Yeah.
that was doable, usable, you know? But I think it was, I just think there's some things out there in this world that are just they're kind of bad from the start, or they're kind of just poorly, they're kind of they think on paper, the potential is there, but in actuality, it's extremely faulty in every way.
Yeah.
You know?
It could have been like a Borderlands or Fallout. Like they could have been quirky and be like, "This is our shtick," and they done
also,
good.
And they also could have done something a little interesting. Why don't you make this more like Wind Waker, where there's actually islands that they go in between on?
Well, the whole thing is the whole world is covered in water. There were no islands.
Yeah, so they were preoccupied with the search for dry land, which is such a flimsy.
The tattoo.
Yeah, it's
the
like
tattoo's the only marker.
Random tattoo on some little girl, and we find out later it's not even directly stated. It's just you kind of have to figure it out based on the very vague context clues that the little girl is from this civilization. And I guess the idea is that because when you finally find dry land, it's like all skeletons. So somehow they knew
they knew they were going to die.
They were dying out, so they tattooed a map to dry land on this little girl's back and then sent her out into the world to be found by the one chick.
Yeah.
They could have done a Prince of Persia scene at the beginning of the movie where the girl, like some sort of storm, Gilligan's Island, she's being whisked away. Something, anything to give you a little bit more backstory on her. Cut the scurvy dude out, and the story would have been already better.
And don't start off with Kevin Costner peeing into a water recycler.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's super 90s Kevin Costner too.
Well, and again, if you think in the concept of like Mad Max or even like Borderlands or Fallout, those type of things would have been quirky in themselves had they been implemented correctly, but they're not.
Yeah.
And then the only quirkiness that's kind of funny is the smokers, but again, you miss part of the story and it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So it's really not quirky or funny. Like it could have been their thing, fine. But this
suffers from too is it kind of suffers from the same problem as the Phantom Menace. In that like there's all these scenes that really should not be in the movie, but they're all so tightly intertwined. Like they basically each scene is like an excuse to go to the next scene. So like once you start taking an axe to them, like you'd be left with something that doesn't make any sense. Like the girl coloring on
the ship
is pointless in and of itself, but it kicks off the whole sequence of events that ends up with whatchamahoozy, that ends up with him throwing her out of the boat, and then she gets rescued because she can't, like the chick who's like not her mom but like the one who found her and is protecting her jumps in to save her because she can't swim, and then they're like it just sets off this whole cavalcade of like random mishaps that's like basically sort of introduces you to the idea of like the two female passengers on Kevin Costner's ship are a nuisance and a burden on him.
Yeah.
And they're causing him all sorts of trouble. It's like if they had come up with a better approach to showing the audience that from the get-go, it would have been good. But the way they did it, it's like you can't start chopping stuff out of it.
No, you
or
could.
None of it makes sense anymore.
like stormed off like little kids would have, right? And then tripped on the net and fell in the water. And then the lady would have shortened the scene 15 minutes right there. And it would have still done the same thing. Like Kevin Costner could have totally blown them off. The lady could have jumped in the water to save her. And you could still get the whole idea that they annoy him.
Yeah, I'm just like
And,
talking about
like,
from like a editing perspective. Like you couldn't save this movie in the edit.
No,
Oh,
you
no.
couldn't. No.
Like Star Wars, the original Star Wars was like basically
that was saved.
saved in the edit. Like it was an unusable mess, and then George Lucas's wife came in and was like cut it up, recut it a completely different way, and it made history. This is one of those films that should have been shot differently from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like this could not have been
I
saved
think
in the
this
edit.
should have been a script that wasn't done until 10 years later. Like,
Also true. I think, like James Cameron waiting 10 years to release the second Avatar, like
yeah.
this would have been good waiting for technologies and times to kind of catch up. It could have been really good. And I think if they would do a reboot, not affiliated with the original one, I think it could be a really good story. Like
I think so
the
too.
concept and
Yeah.
the idea.
Can you imagine, Frankie? Like we were watching it, and I was like, "Can you imagine if they rebooted this or they remake it, and it's like your boy Ryan Gosling or somebody, and he's the main character, but there's not just fish people. He's not a fish person or with gills, but there's different species mutations
Yeah.
from the flood or whatever that happened. That because of you could explain for some reason there are shark people, there are squid people. You could turn it into kind of a pseudo Pirates of the Caribbean thing and keep it interesting that way instead of Kevin Costner's the chosen one because he's got gills and webbed feet. Like
Yeah.
there's other ways you can do it.
Oh
also,
God, don't bring up the web feet.
yeah, no, we'll get there.
It
But,
gets
like,
David so mad.
the whole thing of him being a chosen one, or the one anomaly, like because of he's a fish person now because we're in Waterworld, guys. I can't believe
Well,
it.
I think the idea was Kevin Costner's character was supposed to be an outcast, a loner, like
like Mad Max,
a drifter.
Yeah.
Like he was supposed to be like rejected by society at large. So there were other ways they could have presented
There's other ways
that.
you could have done.
Making him a fish person was not necessary.
It's too a little
I mean,
bit.
they could have even kept it and somehow brought it into the story. Again, cutting stupid scenes that were unnecessary to push the story forward could have been used. The time could have been spent better.
And I think my personally for me, my biggest issue with this film is, I'll give you an example. The best scene that I've remember watching in this film, besides maybe the ending action sequence, is the whole scene of him and the little girl underwater doing, I can't remember what they're doing, they're catching fish or something, but they're underwater and it's a really cool.
Showing them
no,
dry
no.
land.
No, you're talking about him and the little girl, right?
Yeah, the little girl.
He's
Yeah.
teaching her how to swim.
Teaching her how to swim. That was a really cool scene, and the way they shot it, and it was really heartfelt, and it wasn't like there wasn't a ton of heart there, but it got the message across, and I thought that was really cool the way they did it. But I wanted more of that. I wanted like, oh yeah, these two people are a burden to you. What can we do for this character to make them not a burden? Because he
Right.
stays the exact same opinion of these two people through the entire film, with the exception of the little girl with him helping her swim toward the end of the film, which leads into the end of the film as well, like the ending sequence. But the whole thing of, oh, you're a nuisance, and there's no change in his character. There's no character development in his character at all. And I think that's probably my biggest critique with this film. Besides, there's no heart is basically what I'm getting to. There's no heart in this film with the characters or anything. There's no investment in there. There's no reason for me to care about them other than it's Waterworld, basically.
Yeah, that's like, it's so funny that you bring that up because it's basically like we go from like him and the two females hate each other's guts into like suddenly he's like, oh, I have to save her, and she's like, the little girl's like giving this monologue to
dude.
to Dennis Hopper about how he's like, he like could see 100 miles, hear 100 miles. He doesn't have a name, so death can
I
find
think
him.
that ties into the ending though.
Okay, so I need to read. You brought it up. I got to read it. You ready? So she says, in quotes, he doesn't have a name, so death can't find him. He doesn't have a home or people to care for. He's not afraid of anything, men at least of all. He's fast and strong like the big wind. He can hear 100 miles and see 100 miles underwater. He can hide in the shadow of the noon sun. He can be right behind you, and you won't even know it till you're dead. I'm Batman. Like, that's what that's basically like trying to do. It's like, shut up. Like, it's Kevin Costner. You know he inserted that. I'm sure he had some hand of inserting this into the film.
I mean, considering the fact that he took over directing this film,
Yeah.
leads me to believe. Honestly, from what I read of the background of this film, it seems like Kevin Costner basically was this film's George Lucas. He just came in and like just messed up everything.
Yeah, and without him, this film wouldn't have been made, to be fair. But regardless, it wasn't a good idea, I think, to start out with. Like, Mad Max, but it's water. Like, how do you make that interesting? And it's like, I think a bunch of people who just believed in it really hard. But I think, there was issues with development, but I just think it was just such a flawed idea.
Because Mad Max was literally a world without water.
Yeah!
So they just took it to the extreme, to the other side.
World with nothing but water.
Yeah, and what are we going to call it? Waterworld.
Yeah.
Because that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not related, but related.
Okay.
There is a show called Gigantia. It's literally an anime version of Waterworld,
Ooh.
but it is really good.
Okay.
Just
How do you spell
FYI.
that?
Is
Gigantia?
Gigantia.
NTIA. Gigantia.
I think it also has like aliens or something, but
I'm gonna type in anime after that. But yeah,
it's
got alien. Yeah, they could have done aliens, which would have been kind of cliche. But there's other things they could have done, man, to make this film way more interesting than it had any right to be.
Yeah. The thing about it is,
Okay, I found
like,
it. Gargantia and the Veridius planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got water people. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is pretty much Waterworld anime,
Like,
but it is good.
this film really needed someone with a vision
Yes.
to do it. Like, the problem is they did what they did. They kind of bumbled their way through it, and by the time they were done shooting, they were left with a mess. No amount of editing could have saved this film.
No.
They really needed somebody to come in with a vision from the start.
Yeah.
Who actually knew what they were doing.
And to be clear, like, technically speaking, there's some pretty impressive things with this film, like the action sequences, the whole attack on the town itself at the beginning of the film is really well done, but it's really entertaining. And I don't even know that, but it's entertaining.
It was entertaining. You had a hoot. You were laughing.
Yeah,
the
I
whole
was
time.
like, dude, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and some of the craziness and it feels like camp, but it's not. You know, like there's some. Yeah, go. Yeah, so there's a lot of entertaining bits in this film, but like, yeah, overall it just falters over itself as it stumbles to the end, I think.
That was probably the most Mad Max-esque scene, was when they're out in the distance waiting, and then all of a sudden the hectic chaos unleashes and they're bombarding the town and they're doing all this stuff. That was the most Mad Max this movie felt like, to be honest.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into one of the best things that come out of this movie, in my personal opinion, was the Universal Studios Hollywood attraction of this movie, which was this giant water show you could go to. And it was like basically a big stunt show where you can get splashed on. And it was all these people in jet skis, all these like flames that are coming out everywhere. The plane crashes into the giant pool.
Jack Black.
No Jack Black, unfortunately. And you got people running around. You got the Kevin Costner character running around doing stuff, fighting people. It's super entertaining as like a live show. And they did it for like 30 years or something like that. Like, it went on for a while. And it's only like 20 minutes.
Wow.
So it's really well done. Every time we went to Universal or Six Flags or anything like that, like down there, we'd go to Universal Studios, and that was like one of the ones we would see on day one, was going to see the Waterworld show. It's a lot of fun. There's people that get catched on fire, that fall off buildings and stuff, and just fly around. It's super cool.
So I wonder if because it really seems like Kevin Costner kind of took over this film and derailed whatever good things they may have started with at the beginning of production. So I wonder if this action set piece was the one thing he didn't mess with or something, because it's it seems very out of place, because it's very well done, very visually interesting. There's so many ways you could have hooked in, visual elements you could have hooked into, the world building and storytelling. You could have connected those things just because of all the different things that were going on, all the moving parts. Ultimately really well done. And it's it's stark contrast to the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
How do we know what parts Kevin Costner directed?
We don't.
Maybe that was the only bit that was left, because
well, he came in. He took over at the end of production.
Yeah.
But my feeling is that he was inserting himself into the directorial process long before that, and that's probably what got Kevin Reynolds to say, "I'm out."
Yeah. Fair enough.
Also, really quickly, the acting in this film. I love that Jack Black's in this film. I was not expecting that. He's only in there for 5 minutes max, but I'm like, that's awesome. Jack Black's in this
You're being
film.
way too generous. It was 2.
Okay, yeah, 2. Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
He's only in 2 scenes,
but he
right?
makes those 2 minutes count. That's what I'll say. Yeah, no. Kevin Costner is really bland, I think, in this movie. The webbed feet don't help as well.
God, you keep bringing it
The
up.
webbed feet, man. Dude, and there's so many scenes where he's running around where obviously he doesn't have webbed feet on. Also, dude, okay, look, technically speaking, there's a lot of thought that went into this production, but not everything. Why is he barefoot? As an actor, you're out there for what, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and he's barefoot. Now, in the notes, they say they put like leather things on the bottom of his feet, but that was the only thing covering the bottom of his feet. There's nothing else when you're shooting the film. So he's just out there, elements exposed to his feet like that.
He had shoes. They got stolen in the town.
No. He had shoes for a second.
In the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
The rest, he's just barefoot. So I'm like,
he doesn't find new shoes. Come on.
why does bare feet have to be a big part of him? Is it because of the webbed feet? Why? I don't like it. I don't like.
Yeah,
webbed feet,
that was a misstep. Honestly, it really.
I see what you did there.
Honestly, it's very it takes you out of it too. Just seeing him running around all these dangerous environments with bare feet,
with nails and screws, or whatever.
It's dude, your feet would have been a bloody mess.
Yeah.
It really. Yeah, it's just bad. All they had to do was insert a scene where he finds some Reeboks or Nikes down in the world below, and then he has shoes for the rest of the film,
Wow, look at these 1994 Jordans that I found down there. This is amazing.
Okay, but if you think of old pirate movies, they're constantly climbing up those rope ladders barefoot.
That's a good point.
So it kind of goes to the whole oceanic theme, I think.
Mm-hmm. We're just in the future.
Yeah, I think you guys are really hung up on web feet. Just gonna let it go.
Yeah, David, why you hung up on web feet, huh? You got some against feet or 4 feet? What are you doing?
Okay. A lot of people have a thing for feet. I am not one of them.
It sounds a little defensive. Yeah.
I am not one of them.
That's a little defense in your tone.
Yeah.
What's up? No, I'm joking.
I
don't like any kind of feet.
Yeah, feet are not a great thing. I mean, they're a useful thing, but they're not something I want to spend a whole lot of time looking at.
No.
Yeah, especially Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's just, you know what? I would say I don't know. Let's just get into the trivia unless you guys have anything else. Let's get into the trivia. All right. Number 1. Prior to Titanic, this was the most expensive movie ever produced. $175 million, 95 or 4 or whenever they were filming it. Jurassic Park was 70 million.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much Jurassic Park
But they were
was.
on land most of the time. They had
That's
to go
true.
out to sea,
Yeah.
and you have to bring multiple boats for the entire crew and be far
Yeah.
enough away or in the right direction to not be in the scene. I can only
Yeah.
imagine how much of a nightmare it was actually to
man.
film this movie.
It gets even crazier, man. It is rumored, so it's allegedly, that director Kevin Reynolds and Kevin Costner had a huge squabble over the film, resulting in Reynolds walking off the project and leaving Costner to take over directing and oversee the editing. So, yeah, it looks like it was at the end right there, the end of production. Reynolds was quoted as saying that Kevin Costner should only star in movies he directs. That way, he can work with his favorite actor and favorite director.
Oh my God.
So I'm gonna guess, yes, that is a real quote. I'm gonna guess that's exactly what happened. Not allegedly. I'm gonna guess that's not rumored. That's real. Number 3. This is a little long, but here we go. The preferred 3-hour cut of director Kevin Reynolds was drastically edited back to a 135-minute theatrical version by Costner and the studio, probably in an effort to recoup the film's inflated $175 million budget. And there's a note here, since Costner's previous 3-hour movie, Wyatt Earp in 94, had been a box office bomb. ABC later broadcast an extended TV version that restored almost 40 minutes of deleted scenes, which explained more about the world, the people who live there, the smokers' religious beliefs, and their ability to refine crude oil. The additional scenes also tie up several loose ends in theatrical release, being a TV special. This version was also censored for violence and language. A fan edit of the film called Waterworld: The Ulysses Cut, named after a restored scene at the end, was later made in an attempt to create the most complete version of the film. It was compiled from several broadcast versions containing all of the additional footage from the TV version while restoring the previous censored parts. In an unexpected turn, the original distributor officially sanctioned this fan edit by releasing it in a box set with the other 2 versions. This Ulysses cut was remastered in high definition, created with original footage rather than the lower quality broadcast material. That's crazy.
Whoa, dude.
So it sounds like we got another weekend project.
So that sounds like an episode for our
peak analysis?
No, our
Redemption.
our other thing we've been talking about. The thing.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause
Maybe. Maybe.
No.
No. Yeah, I don't want to, as much as like I'm intrigued by what those things potentially could be, I don't really have any desire to further dive into the world of water, we'll say.
Yeah, I want to, like, a part of me wants to know, but that
Yeah.
means I have to sit through this movie again, but longer.
But longer.
So many more webbed feet.
A whole race of web feet.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on. Writer Peter Ratter shelved his original screenplay after a fellow screenwriter read it and made several disparaging remarks about it. He directed a few films himself, then dusted it off and sent it around Hollywood. So he didn't change it. He just sent that same script that had the critiques back around. While walking around a studio, he coincidentally heard a few executives talking about his script and was surprised to hear that it already made its way to Kevin Costner, who was interested in starring. For the Japanese premiere, Kevin Costner had his private plane flown to Tokyo. He failed to get permission to store his plane at the airport for the duration of his trip. He asked the Navy if he could use their airport at Sugi. They agreed, but only if Costner showed the film there and made a personal appearance. That's a little funny. Let's see. Yes. You know what? Yeah, we're going to do this one. Number 6. Filming on water came with a lot of unforeseen problems. Scenes taking place inside the over 2 million pound floating atoll set. What?
Atoll.
Atoll?
It's the town.
Okay.
It's like a floating island.
Gotcha. The floating atoll set could be filmed just off the coast, but for scenes taking place in open water, it took hours to bring the set and ships at least 2 miles off the coast to get a view that offered 270 degrees of open water. Training the set or trimaran so that the camera wouldn't pick up land was also very time consuming. There was limited space on the sets for cameras and their operators to move, and they also had to compensate for the motion of the sea. Oh man, but that was a nightmare. Local weather conditions usually deteriorated in the afternoon, so most filming had to be stopped at 3 to 4 p.m. To make matters worse, about 30 additional boats used by the cast and crew were needed for lighting, cameras, makeup, catering, costumes, etc., none of which had bathrooms. Filming had to stop repeatedly so people could be ferried to portable toilets on a barge anchored near the shore. All these limitations usually allowed for only 5 or 6 setups on each day of filming, significantly extending the shooting schedule. That's crazy.
And to think too, with that kind of environment, all of the footage that they shot.
Yeah.
Considering that the original cut of this film was 3 hours long, like, they really persevered through all of that to film all of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, they were that dedicated, and they're like, we're in this, we're getting it done. It's crazy. But speaking of filming, I'm going to jump down here to number 9. 2 locations were considered that could accommodate construction and filming of the enormous sets. One was the southern coast of Australia, and the other Hawaii's Kona coast. The choice fell on Hawaii since production was scheduled for a summer period, when it is actually winter in Australia. Parts of the sea around Hawaii were also free from shipping lanes and had areas with 180 degrees of water with no land in sight. However, the studio forgot to research weather patterns off the coast of Kona. If they had, they would have learned that the area was subject to 45-mile-an-hour winds and rain, which constantly blew the sets of position and ruined shots, as well as hurricanes that required sets to be rebuilt at great cost. That's crazy. Number 10, screenwriter David, what was it, Frankie? Tuhey?
I don't remember what I said.
Tuhey. David, the guy who wrote this, later went on to write and direct the Riddick films starring Vin Diesel, which were produced and released by Universal Pictures, which was the production company that released Waterworld. Number 11, Joss Whedon flew out on set to do last-minute rewrites on the script's third act aboard the smoker's ship. He later described it as 7 weeks of hell, stating that he did little more than taking notes from Kevin Costner and trying to work them in the script. Because nobody listened to his ideas, in the end, he, in quotes, wrote a few puns and a few scenes that I can't even sit through because they came out so bad. And speaking of Costner, Kevin Costner did much of his own stunts, featuring the Mariner on the zipline himself, much to the dismay of producer Charles Gordon. However, he was actually safely attached to a zipline and body harness, and a built-in brake. Director Kevin Reynolds did the stunt himself first to demonstrate its safety. Of course, great care had to be taken with the timing of the explosions as Costner slid by, and as we go through it, yeah, he did a lot of his own stunts in the film, especially that one. According to producers, so this is really interesting because the producers, basically what happened was this movie came out, it made a kind of a profit because you have to factor in also the marketing budget with the $175 million they spent. So imagine, usually I think they take 1.5 times the budget and put it, you would take that and multiply that and put it to marketing, and that's your total budget of the film when the end of the day comes. But they said that with VHS sales and with rental sales throughout the years and everything, and just physical media releases, they said the producers were kind of mad that this was considered a failure because they made a bunch of money on rentals and physical sales and all that kind of stuff. So this movie definitely made back its money, but it just took a while, basically. And this was definitely one that you would rent, like 100%. I would rent back in the day. Like, whoa.
Yeah, this is how I saw this film as a child. Is basically this was one of the movies we rented occasionally because for whatever reason, it was like
I went and saw it at the movie theater.
How old were you? You what, 5?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, my grandma used to take me to the movies all the time. It felt like every Friday. I'm sure it was not, but I got to miss school half the time because my grandma always wanted to go to the matinee show.
That's cool.
and we go see stuff like this. She also took me to go see Hellraiser, which scared the crap out of me because I think it came out in like 93 or something. I was real little. It was not a good movie to go see.
That's funny. Yeah, the only movies around this time that I remember seeing in the theaters were Jurassic Park and the original The Santa Claus.
Ooh, that's a horrifying film.
Yeah. So
with Tim Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and saw that one too.
Yeah. I definitely don't remember seeing this one as a kid in the theaters. I might have remembered it more fondly if I did.
Like I said, we went to go see. I went and saw like Lion King and all sorts of other movies. Don't get me wrong. My grandma didn't take me to go see all bad movies at the movie theater, but like we went and saw that. She took me to go see the Pokemon movie, and of course, as a kid, you cry at the end.
Aww.
And then she took me to go see a Phantom Menace when it came out. Of course, I was cool. I loved the dual red lightsabers, right? You didn't give a shit about the horrible story.
Yeah, that's the thing is Phantom Menace was like so great as a kid because when I was a kid, it was like I was in love with Star Wars. And so Phantom Menace was like, woohoo, another Star Wars movie. And that's all I cared about. And then later watching it as adults, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not letting you guys talking me into watching any more of my childhood movies to ruin my perception of them.
Oh, you know what? You know what you have to check out, though? You have to check out the Red Letter Media review of the Phantom Menace.
Not Mr. Plinkett's thing?
Well, it's Red Letter Media.
Oh, okay. But it is Plinkett's.
Yeah, it's Mr. Plinkett.
Okay, yeah. That's like classic YouTube right there.
Yeah.
Is them reviewing that.
That's like, I mean, honestly,
So
honestly,
ridiculous.
parts of that explain like what makes a movie good and why Phantom Menace doesn't have that so well. It's like some of that stuff like could be shown in like a film class.
Yeah.
It's so well formulated, but it's hilarious.
Right.
I'm surprised you don't watch Red Letter Media, Frankie. You seem like the millennial type to watch.
The millennial type.
Yeah, the millennial type to watch Red Letter.
I watch a whole lot of things.
Yeah, anime.
I do watch.
Can't never get enough anime.
I do watch a lot of anime, but I watch a lot of like business basics because I like they have sub series within their series, and so they'll have like a Why So Expensive. We saw the stupid expensive fruit ones, and But then I also watch their Business Insider series, which is right now it's covering a lot of like geopolitical stuff. So it's got the war in Ukraine and Putin and all that stuff, and I don't know. It's really good to go to bed to.
Yeah. Well, it brings
you just put it on and like half watch it. You learn some things, pretend like you know the news, and then you fall asleep.
Well, it calls back to the stuff like Modern Marvels, and how it's made.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, speaking of how it's made, let's get back to the trivia here. So there's a scene in this film. The drapes fall down, and we get a butt shot of Jeanne Tripplehorn. But let me tell you, it's not really her. Because Jeanne Tripplehorn refused to strip for this film. Even though she had done nude scenes before and continued to do them, she insisted on choosing her body double. So let's keep one second. As she wanted the naked backside shown to resemble her own, she had the 3 finalists come into her trailer and drop their robes. She described it as an odd experience, and none of them could stop laughing. In between takes of the nude scenes, she supported them and remained off camera by offering a robe and towel for them to wrap themselves in. David, what are your immediate reactions to that?
I'm just like, why?
Again,
why
it's IMDb trivia.
Earth?
But it's too ridiculous to be like, I cannot be real.
Like, I believe that it's real.
Yeah.
But I just want to know why.
Yeah.
Why is she the final authority on like what her own backside looks like? Does she have eyes behind her head or something?
I know I can't see my own ass.
Yeah. Same.
It's also like, yeah, it's like what, like, even if she was so concerned about it,
yes, she
could have just requested photos of different people.
You know what she could have done? Is just refuse to do the scene. She's already signed to do the film. She could just been a prima donna and said, no, I'm not doing that. She could have held her ground and did it, but she worked out a deal with them and she decided, as long as I choose who it is.
Well, that's the thing.
Come
It's
on.
That's the thing, is clearly she wasn't dead set against the scene. She just didn't want to do it herself.
Yeah.
But why turn it into this whole thing?
And why did they have to make the scene there anyway? It's useless.
No, I'm gonna go back to David's earlier statement. If they start chopping one thing, then you have to chop a whole bunch, and then in which case it's real broken. Because then isn't that where the scurvy scene ends up, or before?
No. This
is that's later.
Yeah, this later. She's like
Kraken, right?
The context of her disrobing is that Kevin Costner is basically they escape the city, and he's like, okay, I've got X amount of resources, and
one of you guys gotta die.
One of you's gotta die is like, and I guess he decides that the like from like purely pragmatic approach, like the kid is the one who needs to die, apparently, that in his brain that's how it works pragmatically. Which kind of like is, I guess, is supposed to be a window into his character, that he's like emotionless, cold-blooded, has no empathy for his fellow man or whatever, and then it's like, so he's gonna kill the kid because apparently that's what needs to happen in his mind, and she's like desperate for anything that will sway him to try to make it with the both of them still alive, and she pleads with him until finally she's just like,
look at me,
want some of this. It like makes sense from a narrative perspective,
sure, but it's like
if you didn't do that, like you would have had to have. Like, that's the thing, is, like, you couldn't save this movie in editing.
No.
Like, all the things that didn't need to be there, and I agree, that scene didn't need to be there, but, like, for them to be cut out, you would have had to have shot the whole movie differently to begin with.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, this is what we're stuck with.
Unfortunately. Let's see. Last couple ones here. Although it is never confirmed in the theatrical cut that dry land is actually Mount Everest, the numbers on the tattoo on Enola's back, and this is spoilers, by the way, y'all, if you were worried about that kind of thing, if you're this far into it. So on the back of the little girl are apparently the exact coordinates of Mount Everest. In the longer Ulysses cut of the film, it is made explicit as Helen and Enola wave goodbye to the mariner from Kevin Costner's character from the top of the mountain. They find a plaque that commemorates the first explorers of those that first set foot on Mount Everest back in 1953. And that was in the original ending of the film. It was explained that the mariner, I'll just say mariner, isn't leaving simply because he is freaked out over dry land, or that he feels he truly belongs on the open waters of Waterworld. He reveals to Helen that there may be other mutants like himself out there, that he must find them to tell them about dry land and Mount Helen. About Helen. This ending was restored in the extended Ulysses cut of the film. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's very strange.
I did say that during the movie.
Yeah, you're like, it's Mount Everest. And
it's the highest peak on the planet.
Which is really funny, too, because the actual scene was shot in Hawaii.
Yeah.
When there's
the furthest possible thing from Mount Everest that you could imagine.
Literally.
Yeah, but as the oceans rise, it's the only little peak poking out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could surmise that the climate had warmed to the point where,
that's what it's all about, man. Global warming.
But it's just very strange.
Very strange.
It's all very strange. But it kind of like, hearing that, it kind of makes a lot of sense for why the ending was the way it was.
Yeah.
Because when you see the ending, you're just like, what?
What is going on?
And then you hear that it was supposed to have a whole lot more to it. You're like, oh, okay.
See, maybe they could have added in instead of cutting out to make it more coherent.
Yeah, and this proves my point, too. This proves my point is this film...
Watch out, everybody. David's on it.
This film could not have been saved in the edit because all the stuff that Kevin Costner chopped out of it, what you're left with makes almost no sense at all.
Yeah.
It's just like, you have this movie where things happen, you're like, what is going on?
The last one in the trivia is Tina, man, help me, Frankie. Tina Majorino, we'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Was the little girl's actor was nicknamed Jellyfish Candy by the crew after she was stung 3 different times during production. That's crazy. Also,
That's actually kind of funny, though.
it is funny. Yeah. By the way, you made the point, or was it David? I can't remember who, but one of you guys made the point that that's the little girl, or that
was David.
was David. This is the little girl in this is the girl in Napoleon Dynamite.
It is
No,
Teen-
that was that. I think that was one of you guys who said that.
Was it? That was you, Frankie.
It wasn't me.
It must have been. Because we were looking at IMDb and you're like, she was in Napoleon Dynamite. I'm like, what? And then you're like, she was the
I'm
girl.
pretty sure that was David.
It wasn't.
Well, let's make it a
Yeah.
group effort. you know?
Yeah.
We all discovered
It was
that
a collaborative
collaboration.
process.
But yeah, that's the chick. Like, this little girl is the chick in Napoleon Dynamite. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love Napoleon Dynamite.
I remembered I recognized her from something else after I was looking.
Yeah,
through
we were
what
talking.
she
I'm
looked like as an
she must
adult,
have been like
Yeah.
in Matilda or something.
but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, but let's read some of them quotes, some of them banger quotes, and then we can get out of here. Deacon is talking to the mariner, "Don't just stand there, kill something." And then he's like, "I want the girl." And then the deacon, who's Dennis Hopper's character, says, "You know, I thought you were a stupid friend, but I underestimated you. You are a total freaking retard."
Oh my god.
Oh man. And then like there's a quote that says from Deacon, like, "Dryland is not just our destination, it is our destiny."
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
thing too. Is like the deacon, Dennis Hopper's character, is like this religious cult-like figure, and there's so much cut out of this movie that you really don't understand the basis of any of it.
Yeah.
You're just forced to accept this cult imagery, and it's like, okay, I guess they just
I guess this
worship
is
Dennis
happening.
Hopper.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, you kind of get the same feeling from Mad Max, but there's much more context, I feel, from Mad Max.
Right.
Also, that's another thing they ripped off from Mad Max. All the people who were part of that cult, Gas Town. They were refining gas. And what are they doing on the ship? They're refining gas.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yep.
And that last little quote from Deacon, which he's got all the bangers in this film, is, "Well, I be damned. It's the gentleman guppy. You know, he's that turd that won't flush."
Oh man, Dennis Hopper is like the most memorable character in this movie.
Is
He's
he?
still
Yeah, he is.
He's still terrible,
He's
but
still terrible, yeah.
but he's like very memorable.
He gives you that peek of what the movie could have been, though, if it was that insane quirkiness like Mad Max. Like, if everybody's character was in that tone, it could have been a better movie. You're like, oh, it's so stupid and ridiculous, but it's funny.
You know what I want? I want Kevin Costner in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and I want him to be the
my
villain.
god.
So that Johnny Depp, who's like almost 60, has to fight a 70-year-old Kevin Costner. Let's do it.
Okay.
Why
Old people
not?
fights. I'm not sure why. but
Waterworld
sure,
2,
yeah.
baby. That's what we'll call it. Davy Jones comes back, you know?
It doesn't even have to be a Waterworld 2. It just has to be like a reimagining. Someone else directed. Don't cast
Yeah.
Kevin Costner. Just like another set of cast and another like, here's Waterworld. Pretend like the first one didn't freaking happen.
Yeah, like give me... And Avatar 2 proved it. That you can do it's the way of water. You can do films like that
Yeah.
nowadays. Like maybe not as insane like that movie does and how expensive that movie was, but there's plenty of ways you can do it nowadays and for it to be actually good. You know? Like this was kind of just, I think, something that was just stuck in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it should have been they should have waited way longer.
Honestly, you really needed someone like James Cameron
Yeah.
to be able to bring this
Because
project
this
to
is
life.
so ambitious. Like
There's no way Kevin Costner had what it took to do this movie in a competent way.
and I also think it's a lesson of it's a lesson in there's just some things that are just so flawed that they shouldn't be pursued at all. Like I commend this kind of attempt, but there's just, and the potential was there, but there's just some ideas, no matter like how interesting or tantalizing, they're just better left untouched for the lack of a better term, the betterment of man.
Right.
Like Catwoman. Shouldn't exist.
Yeah. Well, even like now, the technology, This could be shot in a studio and all the water and islands could be CG.
Yeah.
And it could be a much better movie.
Yeah, dude. Heck, The Chosen has the scene on the water with Jesus, and it looks pretty decent. And that's done in studio and everything with blue screen.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, you guys.
Yeah.
So anyway. And the anime, Frankie, that you brought up is called Gargantia on the how do you say that, David?
Virtuous Planet?
Virtuous Planet?
Yeah, Virtuous Planet.
Looks like they got mechs in there or something. Or is that like a robot?
There's mechs. Yes.
There are mechs.
Yes.
So this is Waterworld, but anime, but good.
Yeah. It is really good.
And
it actually used to be on Netflix instead of on Crunchyroll, to be honest. Yeah, that's where I watched it originally.
Is this like the like the Starship Trooper to
No.
Paul Verhoeven's
No.
version?
No. Nope.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bid you adieu. I think we've exhausted all of our thoughts on Waterworld, and hopefully they make a remake one day, or hopefully not.
Not a remake, just a complete reboot. Like they just need to start from scratch with with the idea intact.
Yeah, just the name.
Yeah.
Just keep the name Waterworld and nothing else. Anyway. Well, thank you, Frankie, for coming on and spending your very valuable time with us and watching these movies with us. We appreciate you.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah.
Watch these horrible movies.
These straight ass films. And thank you, David, as well, for suffering through this with us. We really appreciate you. Appreciate you, Frankie. We appreciate you, audience. Thank you again for listening to us ramble on again on this episode of the Snarp Fangle Podcast and 2 films entry into the Snarp Fangle universe. Keep your eyes out. We're getting closer to October, so there's going to be some interesting things you might want to keep your eyes peeled for. Anyway, we'll bid you adieu, take farewell, and remember, if global warming is Waterworld wheel, if it's wheel, if the global warming stuff hits and the ocean and the waves are rising and it's heading straight for your house, just remember to think back as you listen to this. And remember that no matter what happens in this world, even if Tom Cruise is run away from aliens, just remember.
Florida will be underwater.
Just remember, with diligence, Frankie, to snarp Fangle on.
Bye-bye now.